Hey, my name is Jim Hart, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the sexiest word in the English language, S-Corps. That's not one of the sexiest words, and it's actually two words. Who knew? Anyway, I'm super excited to be back with you today because my studio is almost done. As you can see, I've got some stuff coming on behind me here. This has been a big work in progress for about the past 4 months. I know it doesn't look like much, but I've got a whole bunch else to show you, including my new marker board that I want to share with you today as well. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hi again, my name is Jim Hart. I'm the founding attorney here at Hawthorn Law. I'm also the creator of the Lock It Down legal protection system, where we help worried entrepreneurs turn themselves into legally legit CEOs of their online business. Today we're going to be talking about something really cool, and that is an S corporation and the difference between an S corporation and an LLC. So if you are a course creator, a coach, you're running a blog, you've got an affiliate store, doing anything like that, once you start earning some revenue, you're thinking about, should I form an S corporation? And that is a good thought, except it's wrong because you do not form an S corporation, and we're going to be talking about that today. But what is right is that you should be thinking about whether an S corp is actually right for your business. And if you don't handle this part properly, and I've talked to many entrepreneurs who have not handled this properly, it can literally cost you thousands, if not tens of thousands. And I actually talked to one person where we were talking like hundreds of thousands of dollars it can cost you. Not only if you set it up wrong, also if you don't do it when you should be doing it, and then you're just paying more money than you want to in taxes anyway. And who wants to pay more money than they have to in taxes? I can tell you, this guy doesn't want to pay more money than he has to in taxes, and I know you don't want to pay more money than you have to in taxes, and that's why S-Corps are so cool. They're a great tool to help minimize that, and we're going to talk about that today. All right, so let's jump into it and talk about what an S corporation is. S corporation, it is not what you think it is. It is not an actual corporation. Most people think they're going to form an S corporation, and that is not what they're doing at all. When you have an S corporation, you're actually telling the IRS that you are making an election that you want to be taxed as an S corporation. And I realize that is really confusing. It was to me when I was just getting started, like almost 20 years ago. And so I know it is to you too, but just all you need to understand right now is that when you're getting your business set up, you do not form an S corporation. So that you understand, an S corporation is not an actual corporation. It is a tax election, and it is a choice that you make. Now, you can make this choice up to 75 days after you form your LLC for it to be effective in the current tax year. Now, if you formed your LLC, let's say you formed your LLC or your corporation in 2020, and you want your S corporation to be effective for 2020, then you have until March 15th of this year, which just passed last month, to make that election for last year. So when you're doing your taxes for last year. Now, and that's because the corporate tax returns are due by March 15th, but you can also get an extension on those till September. And there's also a procedure in place with the IRS that allows you to make a late election, and you can get relief if you have not made that election within 75 days. So it is possible to get that election after 75 days, but for safe harbor reasons, it is easiest just to make that election within 75 days. A lot of people, they set up their LLC around the beginning of the year, and they're not quite sure whether or not an S corporation is going to be right for them. So you can wait until September, October, November, and then make that election if you would like to, and there are procedures for how to do that. So just be aware that that is an option, but to play it safe, 75 days, and then you're assured that you're going to get taxed as an S corporation. Let's talk about what the pros are to making that S corp election for your tax return. The biggest pro is that you're going to pay less in taxes, and that really is the main reason why most people will elect that S corporation tax status. And the reason being that when you are simply an LLC or a sole proprietor or even a C corporation, most people aren't C corporations, so let's just assume that you're either a sole proprietor or an LLC. When you do that, you're going to pay self-employment taxes and income taxes on the entire amount that you earn from the business in profit. Let's just go to the whiteboard right now. This thing's really cool. You can't wait to see this. Hold on a second. So we've got one business that is elected to be taxed as an S-Corp and one that is elected to be taxed as an LLC, okay? Let's say they both bring in $200,000 in revenue. And let's say each of them has $100,000 in expenses. This does not include owner's pay, which is gonna be really important in this calculation. That means net profit for both businesses before they pay any taxes, and because this is an LLC, it's a disregarded entity. Because of that, this is going to pay income tax on all the profit, and it's going to pay self-employment tax on all the profit. So they've got $100,000 profit, which is available for the owner of the business. And the S-Corp also has $100,000 profit. This income is going to be reflected on an S-Corp tax return that is going to be filed with the IRS. This income is going to be reflected on Schedule C of your 1040. In terms of salary, there's no salary. It's just this $100,000 flows directly through to the business owner, and they pay taxes on that when they file their taxes at the end of the year with the IRS through their 1040. This one, the S-Corp, let's say they decide to take a salary. You have to take a reasonable salary. Let's say a reasonable salary for them is $50,000, which means they have profit of an additional $50,000. So the way I should write this out is so $50,000 in salary and then $50,000 in profit, okay? And in this case, it's just $100,000 profit. So what you need to understand, as a self-employed person, you're gonna pay 15.3% self-employment tax in addition to whatever your marginal tax rate's going to be, and I haven't calculated that here, in addition to state income taxes. For this person right here, they're gonna be paying $15,300 in just self-employment taxes. So that's how much they're gonna be paying in self-employment taxes. Now in this case, because they took a salary of $50,000, that's all they're going to pay as their self-employment tax. So throughout the year, whenever they pay their salary, they're going to be paying that 15.3%. Half of it is paid by the business, half of it is paid by the employee. But it doesn't matter, it works out the same. It's 15.3%. This other $50,000 right here flows through, and you only pay income tax on that. So whatever the income tax is what you would pay on this $50,000, but you keep all of it. You don't have to pay any self-employment tax on it. You're gonna pay that 15.3%, and if my mental math is correct, I believe that's $7,650. By having an S-Corp in place for a business that's only generating about $100,000 a year in profit, is gonna save roughly $7,650 a year in tax savings by having an S corporation. That's pretty cool, I think. Let's head back over to the other area. I've still got to figure out some things with that dry erase board, but I think in general that's going to be a great tool. Once I get the lighting right and the markers right, I think that's going to really help. So let's talk about last thing here about the S corporation. Who should form one and who should not form one? An S corp is not for everyone. If you're just getting started in your business and you're not making very much money, then there's not going to be a whole lot in terms of tax savings. Now, clearly the more money you make and the higher your profit margin, the bigger incentive there is to make that S-Corp election. I say the threshold is typically between $25,000 to $50,000 in profit. And the reason for that being, and this is not including the salaries that you're paying yourself over the course of the year, not included in those expenses. It's just the owner's pay. So hopefully that is clear to you. If you are just starting out and you're making like $5,000, $10,000 a year, and that's it, then there's really not going to be a huge benefit to making that S election. And the reason for that is it costs money to file the S corporation tax return. It costs money to hire a service like I recommend for your payroll, and I'll include a link down below to the provider that I recommend. It costs money to do all of those things. For a lot of people who are just getting started, maybe an S corporation is not the right option. But for those of you who have been in business a little bit longer and do have some pretty decent revenue coming in, maybe an S corporation does make sense. It's something you should look into. If you would like to learn more about S corporations, protecting your online business, all those sorts of things, I'm going to post another video right here. That's it for today. I hope you have a great day, folks, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.